A single gunshot rings out, marking the beginning of a desperate mission. The man pulling the trigger is Nie Yan. His eyes, cold and unwavering, are fixed on his target. The bullet finds its mark. A portly man in a fine suit, Chairman Cao Su, stumbles back, a fatal wound blooming on his chest. Panic erupts. Bodyguards rush to their fallen boss, shouting his name in disbelief, while others immediately return fire on the assassin. Though his mission was a success, Nie Yan pays the ultimate price. A volley of bullets rips through him. As Nie Yan lies bleeding out, he looks at his enemy with satisfaction. He tells the dying chairman that in death, everyone is equal, and that he will die at the hands of a nobody. Cao Su is dead. All his nation-rivaling wealth couldn't save him from a single bullet. With his last breath, Nie Yan declares his revenge for his parents complete. But as life fades, he can't help but question why fate was so cruel to him, taking everything he held dear. He reaches for the light, his spirit screaming in defiance. He refuses to accept this end. He will not resign himself to this fate. As his body falls into an endless abyss, his consciousness clings desperately to life. Then a flicker, a sliver of light appears in the darkness as an eye begins to open. Nie Yan's eyes snap open, wide with shock and confusion. He finds himself lying in a bed, not in a pool of his own blood, but completely unharmed. He sits up abruptly, his mind racing. He clearly remembers being gunned down by Cao Su's bodyguards. How could he be alive? Looking around, an impossible realization dawns on him. This is his old, cramped apartment from his student days. Could he have been reborn into the past? A news report on the small TV catches his eye. It's about the explosive launch of the immersive VRMMO Conviction. He stares at the screen, his eyes widening. Conviction's servers had just opened. This confirms it. He really came back. He picks up a dusty picture frame, staring at his younger self as he reintroduces himself to the world. The photo is of his parents, a bittersweet memory of a happier time. He begins to reminisce. Back then, his parents traded strategic metals at the border, earning a massive fortune when the state bought them at a huge markup. With that capital, his father started a smelting company, and their family became wealthy almost overnight. They were swimming in money, living a life of luxury, but the good times weren't destined to last. When he was 25, Cao Su's Century Financial Group targeted his father's business. The friends his father had trusted were all bought off, turning on him in an instant. The company collapsed and went bankrupt. His father, unable to bear the failure, took his own life, and his mother died soon after of a broken heart. He was left all alone. Looking at his reflection, he admits that the inherited wealth had made him lazy, causing him to waste his life. It was only after losing everything that he chose a final suicide run to drag Cao Su down with him. But now the heavens have given him a second chance. His eyes burn with a new fire as he clenches his fist, vowing that this time he won't lose a single thing. He knows exactly where to start. The game Conviction was a cross-era phenomenon that would change the world, attracting countless financial groups. It was the very foundation upon which Cao Su's empire was built. The game quickly became humanity's second world. And in his past life, Nie Yan wasn't just a player. He was a legendary level 180 great thief. He grabs his phone to check the date. It's July 25th, 2025. Conviction has only been open for 7 days. A wave of relief washes over him. He can still make it. This is the perfect chance for a comeback. He calculates that at this early stage, the highest level player on the leaderboards would only be around level 5. With his memories of the future, catching up will be easy. He remembers that at this point in time, his younger self still had some savings. He checks his account and finds just enough money to buy an entry-level gaming helmet. His hand tightens on his shirt, his knuckles turning white. He thinks of Cao Su, the man who destroyed his family, and a cold fury settles in his heart. With newfound purpose, he gets dressed and heads out. This time, he is changing everything. Later that night, the light in his small apartment stays on, a beacon of his resolve under the full moon. Helmet in hand, he knows he's starting 7 days behind everyone else. But he's not worried. With his knowledge, he will crush every rival and stand at the very summit of conviction. Without a moment's hesitation, he puts on the helmet, ready to dive back into the world he knows so well. His consciousness fades from the real world, and a system window appears before him. He is entering conviction. The first step is character creation. He's presented with a map of the world and prompted to select his starting country. The world of conviction is split into three major factions. The first is the lawful good, righteous faction, which holds both the Viridian and Satrine empires. The Viridian Empire is a human nation, ruled by a council of elders, home to classes like clerics, mages, and assassins. The Satrine Empire is a tribal alliance of proud dwarves, fierce orcs, and elegant elves. Next is the lawful evil dark faction, consisting of demon and undead tribes ruled by powerful dictators. Finally, for players who prefer a more peaceful route, there's the neutral faction, which includes races like the giant tribes. Nie Yan doesn't need to think twice. In his last life, he chose the Viridian Empire's Gale Thief class. After pouring years of blood, sweat, and tears into it, he knows every single skill and quest by heart. Choosing it again is the only way to maximize the advantage his rebirth has given him. With absolute confidence, he makes his choice. The system confirms he has selected the Gale Thief class and will be born in the Viridian Empire. With his origin and class set, he is taken to the Naming screen, ready to forge a new legend. He types in his new identity, Nirvana Flame, a name signifying his rebirth from the ashes of his past life. The system confirms his choice. The character Nirvana Flame has been created. He enters the game, materializing in the bustling spawn point of Kalor City, the main hub of the Viridian Empire. As soon as he arrives, a familiar status window appears before him, level 1 thief with 5 available points to distribute. A smile creeps onto his face. That feeling, it's back, and this time he knows exactly what to do. Wasting no time, he immediately allocates his starting points, 3 into strength and 2 into agility. He recalls messing up his build in his past life, wasting precious time. He won't make the same mistake twice. He takes a look around the bustling city square. The teleport point is swarming with new players, all starting their journeys in this new world. He watches other players hawking their wares. One is trying to sell a common dagger for 2 copper coins, claiming it's a huge upgrade over the starter gear. Nie Yan smirks. He knows that exact dagger sells for a single copper coin in a nearby town. He remembers foolishly falling for that scam in his last life, but not this time. He remembers everything. Just then, another merchant catches his eye. A level 3 paladin named Flying Stone is selling a stealth skill book, shouting for all the rookie thieves to take a look. Other new players grumble about the price. 6 coppers is a fortune for them, as they're all broke. But for Nie Yan, this is a golden opportunity. He walks up to Flying Stone's stall and asks for the price. The paladin grins, confirming the listed price of 6 copper. Nie Yan's mind races. Stealth is essential for the early game. With it, he can access a hidden chest in the Wild Cat Zone, a level 5 area near Track Town. Since most players are still low-level, the chest should be completely untouched. With a confident smile, Nie Yan makes an outrageous proposal. He tells Flying Stone to give him the book for free, and in return, he'll reveal a secret farming spot that yields over a dozen stealth books a day. Flying Stone is furious. Seeing Nie Yan is only level 0, he assumes he's just some nutjob trying to scam him out of a valuable skill book and tells him to get lost. Unfazed, Nie Yan calmly tells him to hold on. He then reveals that he knows exactly where Flying Stone got the books, by farming fallen shamans in Link Town. Flying Stone is stunned into silence. Nie Yan presses his advantage, rattling off the exact coordinates of the farming spot, asking, "Am I right?" The paladin breaks into a cold sweat. This stranger knows his secret coordinates. His mind reels at the possibility of farming a dozen books a day. Making a snap decision, he shoves the book into Nie Yan's hands. It's just 1 book, and if he can really farm 3 a day with the new information, it's a worthy trade. A system window pops up, showing he's trading with Nirvana Flame. With the deal struck, Nie Yan takes the book. He holds up his end of the bargain, telling Flying Stone the new coordinates near the fallen shaman camp. Flying Stone is overjoyed and gets ready to head out immediately. As he leaves, Nie Yan makes one last request. The fallen shamans also drop a skill called Owl's Insight, and asks him to mail one if he gets an extra. The paladin readily agrees, promising to send the skill the moment it drops if the new spot works. He then activates his Hearthstone to teleport away. In a flash of blue light, Flying Stone vanishes. Now holding the stealth skill, Nie Yan's first objective is complete. A faint glow envelops him as he prepares for his next move, cracking open that hidden chest. He makes his way through the city and arrives at Track Town, the closest settlement to his target. He doesn't waste a second. He uses the skill book, and a system window confirms that he has learned stealth, a skill that allows him to enter a concealed state. With a single step, he activates the ability. Dark, shadowy energy swirls around him. He vanishes from plain sight, moving like a ghost through the crowded streets of Track Town. Using his agility, he easily leaps over the town walls, avoiding the guarded gates entirely. He lands silently in the forest outside, already sprinting towards the high-level hunting ground where his treasure awaits. Still under the cover of stealth, he arrives at his destination, the Wildcat Zone. The forest is teeming with danger. Vicious wild cats, ranging from level 2 to level 4, roam the area, ready to pounce on any unsuspecting player. From the safety of the trees, he spots his prize. A silver chest sits on a high branch, surrounded by a patrol of deadly level 5 wild cats. He knows that in Conviction, chests are ranked by rarity, with the loot getting better the higher the rank. The tiers range from common to silver, gold, dark gold, and finally the ultra-rare legendary chests. His eyes lock onto the target. That's it, the hidden silver chest. Its loot is fixed, and once opened, the chest vanishes forever. He breathes a sigh of relief, knowing he was the first to find it. He steels himself for the risk. For a level 0 player like him, entering a level 5 zone is normally a suicide mission. But there's a silver lining. At this level, there's no XP loss upon death. With nothing to lose and everything to gain, he reactivates his stealth skill and prepares to move in. He moves through the undergrowth like a phantom, carefully weaving his way past the prowling cats. He leaps into the branches of the ancient tree, his eyes fixed on the chest. He knows he has to be quick. Stealth only lasts for 2 minutes, and opening the chest takes time. Suddenly, one of the wild cats below stops, its glowing red eyes sensing that something is wrong. It lunges, swiping at the air where Nie Yan had just been. He knows he can't get too close to the monsters, or his stealth will be broken instantly. He gracefully leaps from branch to branch, using his agility to stay above the confused but agitated cats. He lands silently on the thick branch, right next to his target. Without a moment to lose, he reaches for the chest. The opening chest progress bar appears. His heart pounds in his chest. He forces himself to remain calm, knowing his invisibility could fail at any moment. Perched high in the tree, he works on the lock while the pack of wild cats circles below, growing more restless by the second. Success, with a satisfying click, the chest pops open. The system informs him it took a tense 27 seconds. His eyes gleam with triumph. He pulls out a skill book from the chest. "Got it," he whispers. His path to perfect leveling has just begun. The reward for his gamble is the skill book Vital Strike. It allows him to deal 150% bonus damage on weak point hits. For a thief, this skill is a game changer. The journey to the top starts right here. Everything was going according to plan. Nie Yan smirked, knowing he had just obtained Vital Strike, a top-tier skill for thieves, right at level 0. With this, he was confident his progress in the early game would be twice as fast. As the skill book vanished, a system notification confirmed he had successfully learned Vital Strike. His plan was now in motion. Just as his stealth effect wore off, 2 massive, red-eyed creatures spotted him from below. But this was exactly what he wanted. Without hesitation, Nie Yan leaped down into a swarm of giant rats, greeting them with a casual taunt. As he fell, he thanked the confused monsters for guarding the nearby chest, a clear provocation. He knew that dying in Conviction meant losing experience and gear. But as a level 0 player with nothing of value, death was a resource, not a punishment. The system windows appeared one after another. He had died, dropped his worthless starter gloves, and was now being teleported to the nearest town. His plan had worked perfectly. In a flash of light, Nie Yan respawned in the middle of a bustling town, pleased that he'd secured a free, instant teleport. With the first step complete, his eyes sharpened. It was time for Phase 2 of his master leveling plan. He found himself in the main square, surrounded by countless other players starting their own adventures, completely unaware of the advantage he already possessed. Nie Yan gazed over the starting village. He knew he needed to make some quick cash. Luckily, his memories from his past life told him exactly where to find a secret quest. He first approached Hunter Klaus, accepting a simple quest to collect 20 giant rat skulls. Next, he visited Farmer End, picking up another mission to kill 50 of the same silver-gray rats. Just as he planned, after accepting the first 2 quests, Apothecary Or approached him. Because Nie Yan had fulfilled the hidden prerequisites, a secret 3rd quest was triggered. This was a secret mechanic only he knew about. With a confident smile, Nie Yan accepted the hidden quest to collect 21 giant rat tails, perfectly aligning with his other 2 tasks. Out in the fields, the paw of a creature crept silently through the tall grass. It was a silver-gray giant rat, the very monster he needed to hunt to complete all 3 of his quests at once. Nie Yan lunged forward, unleashing Vital Strike. The skill, which didn't even require a dagger, dealt a massive 21 points of damage, far more than a level 0 player should be capable of. The rat collapsed instantly. A skull and a tail appeared as loot, putting him on the fast track to completing his missions. To his surprise, his very first kill yielded a rare gear drop, glowing brightly in the field. The item was a pair of tough leather leggings, common gear but a valuable find for any new player. Nie Yan immediately recognized its value. Selling these leggings on the auction house would provide the extra copper he needed for the next stage of his plan. But his hunt was just beginning. Soon, he was facing not one but an entire pack of the giant rats. He moved like a blur, chaining vital strikes together, efficiently cutting down one monster after another. It was clear this farming session would be over in no time. His expression was sharp and focused, like a seasoned veteran flawlessly executing a well-rehearsed strategy. For the next hour, he repeated this process without stopping. An hour later, after relentlessly grinding, Nie Yan returned to the village, his inventory full of the quest items he needed. He turned in all his items, completing the quests for Hunter Klaus, Farmer End, and the hidden one for Apothecary Or. As a reward, he received 34 copper coins and some health potions. Without wasting a moment, he listed the leather leggings he found on the auction house. With his funds secured, he headed straight for the weapon shop. His destination was the town's main weapon shop, the next critical step in his plan. Inside, the shopkeeper gave him a hearty welcome, boasting that his weapons were the best in the land. But Nie Yan wasn't here to browse. He cut straight to the chase, laying out his very specific requirements. A level 0 crossbow with a minimum attack and fire rate, all for under 40 copper. The shopkeeper grinned, presenting his masterpiece, a rapid-fire hand crossbow. With its triple-shot effect, it was the perfect fit for Nie Yan's needs, priced at exactly 35 copper. Nie Yan confirmed the purchase immediately, also buying 9 bundles of 1,000 iron bolts each. The total cost came to 44 copper, almost all the money he had. With his new weapon and a massive supply of ammunition in hand, he left the shop as the owner wished him safe travels. Now fully equipped, Nie Yan set his sights on his true objective, the bison zone. He knew the game had a strict level suppression system. The monsters in the bison zone were level 8, impossibly strong for a low-level player. Even high rankers couldn't touch them at this stage. But Nie Yan was unfazed. He was confident that with his knowledge from the future, he could overcome the massive level gap, even as a level 0 player. He arrived at the wild bison zone. The area was a vast, open plain dotted with herds of high-level monsters and treacherous, rocky cliffs. Nie Yan carefully made his way through a narrow ravine, heading for a very specific location he remembered. He climbed to a high ledge, reciting a set of coordinates from memory. This was it, the exact spot he was looking for. From his perch, he scanned the fields below and quickly found his target, the zone's boss, the bison chieftain. It was a formidable level 8 chieftain rank monster, an enemy that no player should even dream of fighting at this stage of the game. But Nie Yan was perfectly calm. This spot gave him the perfect angle and distance. The boss was right within his crossbow's range. He took aim and fired, sending a volley of bolts flying toward the unsuspecting boss. The shots landed, but the massive level gap meant most of them missed. Even the ones that hit only dealt a single point of damage. But it didn't matter. He had brought 9,000 bolts with him, fully intending to slowly cheese the boss to death from his safe spot. He continued to fire relentlessly, the tiny damage numbers slowly but surely chipping away at the chieftain's health bar. The boss grew enraged, its health barely dented, unable to retaliate against its unseen attacker. Provoked beyond its limit, the bison chieftain let out a roar and charged toward the cliff face in a desperate attempt to reach its attacker. but its attack slammed uselessly against the rock. Nie Yan watched calmly, telling the beast to give up. This was a glitch spot, a place in the terrain confirmed by history where monsters couldn't reach the player. The boss was completely helpless against him. From his safe perch, Nie Yan continued to fire relentlessly. Even though most shots missed, he just needed one to hit every so often, slowly chipping away at the boss's immense health. The air was filled with the sound of thousands of bolts flying through the air, a testament to his unwavering patience. He watched his ammunition count drop from over 8,000 to 6, then 5. It was a long and grueling process. 3 hours later, the bison chieftain's health was finally in the red. It let out a final, agonizing roar, its defeat imminent. Nie Yan was sweating, exhausted from the sheer monotony. He had burned through nearly 4,000 bolts and couldn't believe the beast was still alive. With one final shot, a bolt flew true, striking the enraged chieftain right between the eyes. Its health bar finally hit 0. The seemingly invincible boss was defeated by a single level 0 player. The massive creature began to sway, its enormous body losing all strength. With a final, heavy thud, the bison chieftain collapsed, shaking the very ground beneath it. A system window exploded in front of Nie Yan. He had killed the bison chieftain, earning a staggering 1,800% experience bonus due to the level gap. In an instant, he shot straight up to level 2. His long and patient battle had paid off immensely. He jumped down from the cliff, eager to see what loot the boss had dropped. He couldn't believe his eyes. The boss had dropped a horned dagger, a bronze-grade weapon, an incredibly rare find at this stage of the game. In Conviction, gear was ranked from common to legendary. Since elite monsters were so scarce, the drop rate for stat-based gear was less than 1 in 1,000, making every piece a treasure. A bronze weapon alone boasted 20% more attack than common gear, and came with a valuable bonus stat. Nie Yan knew this level 5 dagger was worth a fortune, at least 3 silver coins. But first, he needed to get its unidentified stats revealed. Just then, he got 2 notifications. His leather leggings had sold for 8 copper, and he was receiving a call from a player named Flying Stone, a paladin he vaguely remembered. Flying Stone appeared on the call, ecstatic. He gushed about how the farming coordinates Nie Yan gave him worked wonders, boosting his leveling speed by 50%. He felt like he was ripping Nie Yan off, having only traded a single book for such a great spot. Nie Yan coolly told him not to worry about it, simply asking for a copy of the Owl's Insight skill book if it ever dropped. Flying Stone enthusiastically agreed, then curiously asked how a level 0 player like Nie Yan knew about that spot. Nie Yan gave a simple lie, claiming he had a previous high-level account before re-rolling as a thief. This immediately impressed Flying Stone, who assumed he must have been a top-tier ranker. Changing the subject, Flying Stone asked if Nie Yan's main had ever run the Fallen Shaman camp. He explained that his own team had wiped there multiple times, losing gear and EXP. Sensing an opportunity, Nie Yan calmly offered a full, clear guide for the camp. The price, 2 silver, non-negotiable. Flying Stone was shocked he even had one. Overjoyed, Flying Stone placed his full trust in him, promising to go convince his captain to pay up right away. After finishing the call, Nie Yan refocused on his prize. It was time to get his new dagger identified. He made his way back to Track Town, heading for the appraiser to get his new weapon's stats revealed. Inside, a beautiful elf appraiser with sharp eyes greeted him. He presented the unidentified weapon, asking for her services. The elf appraiser examined the weapon with a knowing smile and quoted the price for her services, a steep 10 copper coins. Nie Yan was surprised by the high fee, but he knew exactly what it implied. In Conviction, identification fees were a percentage of an item's value. A 10 copper fee meant the dagger was worth at least 12 silver on the open market. This was a worthy investment. Without a second thought, he handed over the coins and confirmed the identification. The appraiser began her work, channeling a powerful energy that enveloped the dagger in a brilliant, golden light. The results were staggering. The horn dagger was a bronze-grade weapon with a level 0 requirement. It provided a massive plus 18 to his attack stat and an additional plus 5 to strength. Nie Yan was ecstatic. The bonus stat had rolled as plus 5 strength, boosting his damage even further. With base stats nearly 10 times higher than a normal dagger, he knew that with this weapon in hand, he was now practically invincible in the early game. Nie Yan calmly assessed his abilities. With a weapon, a vital strike skill, and stealth, he had the perfect assassin's toolkit. The only thing he was missing was a way to sustain himself through long fights. For thieves, there were two ways to heal: potions or bandaging. Potions were fast but burned through money. But for a reborn player like him, who knew the value of every coin, the choice was obvious. Bandaging was the slow but smart way to go. Before heading out, he stopped by the apothecary. He had a specific plan in mind, and for that he needed 2 minor underwater breathing potions. Inside, the alchemist handed over the goods. But first things first, Nie Yan decided it was time to learn the bandage mastery skill he'd been planning on. With his preparations complete, he set off for his destination, the remote and dangerous Lake Rando. The path to the lake was teeming with monsters. Nie Yan moved like a shadow, taking them down with swift strikes. He knew out in the wild you had to stay sharp, as kill-stealing and arguments could break out at any moment. He finally arrived at the Lake Rando fisherman village. The path led straight through the densely populated area. He knew that taking this place on directly would require a raid team of 1,000 men. For a solo player like him, stealth was the only option. But just as he was about to sneak in, a zone announcement flared to life. The Victorious Return Guild was clearing the area, ordering all non-guild players to leave within 3 minutes. Nie Yan's eyes narrowed. Victorious Return? The name triggered a bitter memory. Just like in his past life, they were arrogant bullies, claiming entire zones for themselves and hunting down anyone who got in their way. He remembered all too well how they had hunted him for months. A fire ignited in his golden eyes. This wasn't just an obstacle, it was a chance for payback. He decided then and there that he would settle the score with them, one piece at a time. Instead of retreating, Nie Yan activated his stealth skill, his body fading into the shadows. He was going to walk right through their front door without them ever knowing. He moved silently through the village, a ghostly blur slipping past the dangerous fishman guards. Suddenly his stealth broke. A fireball erupted in front of him, revealing his position to everyone. He'd been spotted. The blast hit him head-on, knocking him back. A system notification popped up. Another player, Purple Blaze, had attacked him, and self-defense mode was now active. An elementalist from Victorious Return stepped forward, a smug look on his face. He mocked Nie Yan, telling him to get lost. Seeing he was alone, the mage was confident he could handle this himself. Nie Yan dodged another blast. His mind raced. Against a mage, there were only 2 options: close the distance and attack, or run like hell. But running wasn't his style. He knew the mage's pyroblast spell took 2 seconds to cast, plenty of time for a thief like him to close the gap. He charged forward, surprising his opponent. Before the mage could even finish his spell, Nie Yan was already on him, driving a vicious stab right into his chest and wiping out a massive chunk of his health bar. Furious, the mage retaliated, screaming that this spot belonged to Victorious Return and that Nie Yan had a death wish. To keep Nie Yan at a distance, he unleashed a new spell, Ring of Fire, creating a swirling vortex of flames around himself. Nie Yan was caught in the blaze, his health rapidly ticking down from the intense heat. But Nie Yan was prepared. Without missing a beat, he consumed a minor recovery potion, instantly restoring a huge chunk of his health. This was the moment he had planned for. The mage was shocked. He expected his opponent to run, but instead, Nie Yan pushed through the flames and landed another clean hit. The mage screamed in panic, but it was too late. Nie Yan had broken through his defenses and was already in position for the killing blow. Watching Nie Yan burn, the mage frantically calculated their health. He guessed the thief must be on his last breath, while he himself only had 51 HP left. It was a race against time. He just needed to cast one more fireball to secure his victory. The mage, Purple Blaze, shrieked in fury, declaring this was the price for daring to cross the Victorious Return Guild. But his frantic attack was clumsy. Nie Yan sidestepped it with ease. In that brief opening, Nie Yan's dagger began to glow with a deadly red light. He lunged forward, unleashing his own skill, Vital Strike. The blade plunged deep into the mage. Purple Blaze stared in disbelief, his body starting to pixelate. He couldn't understand how a mere level 2 thief could survive his powerful spells. Nie Yan just smirked. As the mage's body dissolved, he finally figured it out, an instant recovery potion. But it made no sense. A solo level 2 player shouldn't have the gold for such a rare item. Nie Yan coolly told him he could ponder that mystery while waiting to respawn. The victory was his. He quickly looted the level 2 bronze staff the mage had dropped. There was no time to celebrate. He knew the rest of the victorious Return Guild would be swarming the area any second. He had to get out of there. Just as he predicted, a cry of alarm went up from the guild members nearby. They'd seen Purple Blaze fall and were now shouting for everyone to catch the killer. Without a second's hesitation, Nie Yan bolted, making a break for the lake shore. The guild's warriors were hot on his heels, one of them taunting him, believing his escape was impossible. One of the fighters, wielding a massive greatsword, swung it down with incredible force, shouting that he'd never get away. But the warrior's flame slash was too slow. Nie Yan dodged it cleanly. The warrior was stunned. He couldn't believe the thief was fast enough to dodge an attack like that. Reaching the cliff's edge, Nie Yan pulled out the underwater breathing potion he'd bought earlier. The guild members behind him realized his plan and screamed for someone to stop him. The warriors desperately used their skills, charging and slashing in a last-ditch effort to intercept him before he reached the water. But in their haste, their coordination fell apart. The charging warriors slammed right into their own shield-bearer who was trying to cut Nie Yan off. Nie Yan glanced back, a faint smile playing on his lips as he watched his pursuers stumble over each other. Their attacks hit nothing but air and rock as he gracefully leaped from the cliff. With a loud splash, he disappeared beneath the waves of Lake Rando. The victorious Return members could only stare helplessly at the water. They cursed in frustration. Without water-breathing potions of their own, they had no way to follow. A woman who seemed to be in charge arrived, demanding to know what happened. One of the warriors reported that their target had escaped into the lake. The leader calmly issued her next order. Find out when Purple Blaze respawns and get the thief's player ID from him immediately. The report came in from the respawn point, relaying the message from Purple Blaze. The mysterious thief finally had a name, Nirvana Flame. As the guild leader on the surface vowed revenge, Nie Yan descended into the quiet depths of the lake. He had made a powerful enemy, but everything was going exactly according to his plan. Finally safe beneath the waves, Nie Yan breathed a sigh of relief. He'd shaken off the victorious Return goons. Now it was time to collect his real prize. He remembered a hidden chest somewhere in these depths. Thanks to his memories, it didn't take long. Tucked away in the seaweed was the hidden treasure he was looking for. Inside, he found exactly what he came for, the fishman's water-repelling pearl, a special item that would let him breathe underwater for a full 30 minutes. It wasn't a particularly rare item, but for his current plan, it was a lifesaver. Just as he pocketed it, a trident shot passed his face. He'd been spotted. He had stumbled right into a fishman den. The creatures were swarming him from all sides. He knew fighting them here in their home turf was suicide. But as he looked up towards the surface, a clever idea began to form. The commotion he caused underwater had alerted the entire fishman tribe on the shore above. Meanwhile, the victorious Return Guild was still cutting a path of destruction through the fishman village, completely unaware of the new threat approaching. Nie Yan swam for the surface, intentionally luring the enraged horde of underwater fishmen right into the path of the unsuspecting guild. From the safety of the water, he watched with a grin as his two groups of enemies clashed. He couldn't help but thank victorious Return for unknowingly clearing a path for him. With the coast now in chaos, he swam towards his true destination, soon arriving at the central lake island. He broke the surface, taking a deep breath of fresh air. His plan had worked perfectly. But just as he did, a sudden scream for help echoed from the island. He turned to see a girl in trouble. He froze, that voice, that pink hair. It was Yao Yao, the holy mage from his old party. He couldn't believe fate had brought them together again so soon. Memories of their past life together flooded his mind. The battles they fought, the quiet moments by the campfire. They had a deep history, and finding her here and now, it felt like destiny. Back in the present, he saw Yao Yao struggling in the water, trying to fend off 3 aggressive water spiders. Without a second thought, he dove back into the water to help her. He closed the distance in an instant, unleashing a vital strike on one of the spiders attacking her. Surprised by the sudden help, Yao Yao quickly recovered and cast her own spell, Holy Judgment, on another spider. His physical strike and her holy magic hit their targets at the exact same moment. It was as if they had been fighting alongside each other for years. Together they made short work of the monsters. Standing on the shore, as the last spider dissolved, she turned to him and gave a simple, heartfelt thanks. He casually replied not to mention it, then introduced himself with his in-game name, Nirvana Flame. She repeated the name, Nirvana Flame, a flicker of recognition in her eyes. The name clicked in her mind, Nirvana Flame, which translated directly to Nie Yan. As she wondered if it was the Nie Yan she knew from real life, she formally introduced herself as Yao Yao. A friend request from Nirvana Flame immediately popped up. She smiled, telling him that since he saved her, they should add each other so she could return the favor. With the friend request accepted, a notification confirmed their new connection. Nie Yan smiled and asked what brought her all the way out to this remote island. Yao Yao explained she was farming the spiders for their water sacs. Coincidentally, Nie Yan was after a different drop from the same monsters, fine silk. Seeing they had a common goal, he suggested they party up. She readily agreed, and to his surprise, immediately opened a trade window. As a thank you gift, she offered him the fine silk she had already collected. The trade went through, and Nie Yan found himself with 12 spools of fine silk. At the current market price, that was easily worth 36 copper, a small fortune for a new player. She insisted, saying that 36 copper was a small price to pay for saving her life, especially since she didn't need the silk anyway. Hearing that, Nie Yan accepted her generous gift. But their conversation was cut short as a monstrous shape burst from the water. It was the Water Spider Lord, a chieftain-level boss. Yao Yao panicked. A chieftain was far too strong for 2 low-level players to handle alone. But there was no time to run. A notification confirmed their party was official and the fight was on. Nie Yan took the lead, instantly closing the gap and landing a solid vital strike on the boss. Without missing a beat, Yao Yao backed him up, unleashing a powerful, holy judgment of her own. Her holy magic slammed into the giant spider, dealing heavy damage and staggering the beast. The spider retaliated with a vicious swipe, but a quick warning from Nie Yan gave Yao Yao just enough time to leap out of the way. Switching tactics, Nie Yan drew his crossbow. He shouted that he would draw the boss's attention, telling her to focus on dealing damage. A volley of bolts struck the Spider Lord's eyes, enraging it and successfully pulling its aggro onto him. Nice, with the boss distracted, Yao Yao seized the opportunity to unleash her most powerful spells one after another. A brilliant beam of holy energy engulfed the Water Spider Lord, dealing a critical blow. The combined assault was too much. The mighty chieftain collapsed and sank beneath the waves, defeated. As the waters calmed, Yao Yao stood in stunned silence. She couldn't understand it. Fighting alongside him felt so natural. They had taken down a chieftain like it was just another weak monster. Their synergy was flawless, as if they had been teammates their entire lives. Nie Yan noticed her quiet, thoughtful expression and casually asked what was on her mind. Startled, she said it was nothing. She quickly changed the subject, complimenting his incredible skill and asking why a player like him was playing solo. He simply replied that he was used to it. Hearing he was a solo player gave her an idea. With a hopeful smile, she mentioned that her group was preparing to raid the Treant Forest and invited him to join them.